Hey guys, Rick with RallySport Direct here doing another episode of What's in the Box. Today in front of me I have the GrimmSpeed Cold Air Intake, and I'm so excited to show you these to you today just because I'm a huge fan of GrimmSpeed products, and this is a testament to their quality and the engineering that goes into their products. So first off, let's get started with what's included in the kit. I should point out, you'll see I've got two intake tubes, and that's because they actually do offer these in a black and a red, so I just wanted to show you guys the different options. So with that said, let's go ahead and jump into what's included. So you get this beautifully crafted air box, or I guess I should say heat shield. And of course you've got the GrimmSpeed logo right there. And this is black powder coat, and of course the black air box, I should say, will come in both kits. The only difference is just the red tube. All right, moving on, you've got your basically, let's call them weather stripping, heat isolators, whatever you want to call them. They're basically just help to seal everything in, which is very important when you're talking about heat and trying to keep heat out of the air box. Next up, a reusable, cleanable, re-oilable air filter. One important thing to note about this air filter, and you can't really see it in the video, but it does have a velocity stack in the actual filter itself. Now, the reason I note that is because when you install it on here, you don't want to just shove this in as far as it will go. Now, chances are with this MAF housing right here, you're not going to run into an issue, but you want to make sure that the velocity stack can do its job. And so you want to insert that just enough to get the clamp on it, and then that way you can ensure that that velocity stack is working as it should. And that just helps promote straight airflow into the intake tube, and more importantly, across the MAF sensor. Which I guess should bring me to my next point, is the actual air straighteners here built within this tube. This is highly important. The MAF sensors on these cars are so incredibly, I don't want to call them finicky, let's call them precise, that any disruptance in the airflow going over them can mess up the readings. And so this, well, I guess I should say GrimmSpeed has spent a lot of time engineering this to provide a OEM flow over the MAF sensor to provide very precise readings, which is fantastic, which is just amazing in my opinion that they spent that much time just to make sure that the MAF sensor gets proper readings. Of course, you have a silicone coupler right here with the GrimmSpeed logo on it, clamps included. Then you've got your MAF sensor screws and a grommet. And that's basically about it. Oh, I guess I should say the thank you for choosing GrimmSpeed card that is hand signed, which I think is a very nice touch. Okay, so now let's talk about something else, power. Power and tuning, I think we'll kind of lump those two together. So GrimmSpeed was able to achieve 40 wheel horsepower and 50 foot-pounds of torque with this intake. Now that's with a custom tune, but another thing they did mention is that you can run this intake with like a Cobb access port off-the-shelf map using their SF intake map, which is pretty cool. Now they say, you know, it's temporary because obviously you want to get a custom tune with any aftermarket intake, but I think that's pretty cool that they've tested that and they've shown that it does in fact work just fine. Another thing to note that I think is really cool is the engineering that goes into this kit. So you'll notice they put the MAF sensor right here, which actually sits inside the heat shield. Now the point of that is to keep engine heat out of the MAF sensor. You know, the MAF sensor relies on, you know, basically a heating element, and anytime you're, you know, having excess heat go into that MAF sensor itself, you're messing up the readings. And so by keeping the engine heat out of the MAF sensor, you're providing more accurate readings, which again attributes to a better and more consistent tune and more power as well. And then another thing to mention is the engineering that goes into this pipe itself. Now I already showed you the air straightener, which makes a big difference, but also just the bends, the velocity stack on the filter itself, the way that the air actually goes into this air box. Everything's been designed to work together to ensure very smooth, consistent airflow through this, which again, more power, better tuning, and just overall a better product. So I'm actually blown away with how much engineering went into this kit. Of course, everything is handmade here in the United States, which is great. And it's just a very high quality product, amazing company. If you haven't checked these out, definitely check them out. They will work on the 08 through 14 WRX, 08 through 14 STI, and the 09 through 13 Forester XT. So if you've got one of those cars, you need an intake, definitely check out the GrimmSpeed Cold Air Intake. You won't regret it. That's all the time we've got for you today. Thanks for checking us out. We'll see you next time.